Listen to me carefully, because someone out there needs this message today. Maybe that someone is you. You've been waiting for a sign, waiting for permission, waiting for the right moment, the right approval, the right yes from someone else to finally start chasing what burns inside your heart. But let me tell you the truth. Nobody is coming to hand you a permission slip to your own life. Nobody is going to show up with a golden stamp saying, "You're allowed to win now." Life doesn't work that way. And if you've been sitting back, holding yourself hostage to the opinions of others, then it's time you stop. Because you don't need permission to win. You never did. The only permission you've been waiting on is your own. Think about it. How many dreams have you buried inside yourself because you were afraid someone else might not approve? How many times have you said, "Maybe next year, maybe when I'm ready, maybe when people understand"? But years pass. People don't change. The world doesn't stop spinning. And your dream just keeps sitting there, untouched, unfulfilled, fading into the background. I want to take you back to a story about a young man from a small town. He wasn't wealthy. He wasn't special. He didn't have connections. What he had was a fire. He wanted to build something with his life, something bigger than the streets he grew up on. But every time he told someone about his dream, they laughed. They said, You don't have what it takes. Stay in your lane. Be realistic." And for years, he listened. He dimmed his own light because the people around him couldn't see his vision. He let their disbelief become his prison. Until one day, he woke up and realized those people he was waiting on for approval, they weren't paying his bills. They weren't living his life. And when his head hit the pillow at night, they weren't the ones lying there with regret burning in their chest. It was him. So he made a decision. He said, "Enough. Enough waiting for approval. Enough letting other people's small minds shrink my dreams. Enough asking for permission that nobody is going to give me." And that's when his life changed. He started working, not quietly, not asking, not hoping for someone to clap for him. He worked like his life depended on it. Because in a way it did. And maybe right now, that's you. You're stuck in this cycle of waiting for your boss to notice you, waiting for your family to understand, waiting for your friends to support you, waiting for society to validate you. But here's the truth. If you're waiting for validation, you'll be waiting forever. Nobody gave Steve Jobs permission to start Apple in a garage. Nobody gave Oprah permission to own the stage after being told she didn't belong in TV. Nobody gave Martin Luther King Jr. permission to dream of a world where freedom rang for everyone. Nobody gave Elon Musk permission to chase the stars. They didn't ask. They didn't wait. They didn't beg. They decided. And that's the difference. Winners don't wait for permission. They take what's theirs. Let's make this real for you. Maybe you're sitting in a job you hate, dreaming of starting your own business. Maybe you've got a book inside you, a song inside you, a movement inside you, but you're scared. Scared of being laughed at. Scared of being misunderstood. Scared that people will point fingers and say, "Who does he think he is? Who does she think she is?" And that fear is what's been stopping you. But let me ask you, who cares? Who cares what they think? Because those same people who mock you now will be the same ones asking you for advice when you win. The same ones who told you it's impossible will be the first to say, "I always knew you'd make it." So I want you to shift your mindset right now. Stop thinking you need a green light from the world. You don't. The only green light you'll ever need is the one inside of you. And if you're waiting for the right moment, let me tell you, the right moment is now. The only time you have is today. The only permission that matters is yours. Here's the hard truth. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to do it for you. You're either going to step up and claim what's yours, or you're going to watch someone else live the life you wanted. And I know that hurts. But sometimes the truth has to hurt to set us free. So right now, I want you to imagine, what if you stopped waiting? What if you decided that today, this hour, this very second, you were done begging for permission? What if you finally said, "This is my life, my dream, my time, and I'm taking it back"? Because the world doesn't reward the timid. It doesn't reward those who sit quietly and hope to be noticed. The world rewards the bold, the brave, the relentless, the ones who say, "I will not be denied." There's a quote I want you to hold on to. If you want something you've never had, You must be willing to do something you've never done. That means stepping out of the waiting room and into the arena. That means betting on yourself when nobody else will. That means giving yourself permission to fail, to learn, to grow, and to rise. So here's where it begins. Right here, right now. You don't need permission to win. Take what's yours. Let's dig deeper, because I know what some of you are thinking right now. It sounds good, but it's not that easy. My situation is different. My struggles are heavier. My road is harder. And you're right. It isn't easy. Winning never is. But here's the truth. You already know life is hard. Struggle is guaranteed. Pain is guaranteed. The only question is whether your pain will come from discipline or from regret. Let me share a story with you. There was a woman, mid-30s, single mother of 2. She worked double shifts, sometimes 3 jobs, just to keep the lights on. She had a dream, starting her own bakery. She loved baking since she was a kid, but life kept her chained to survival. Everyone told her, "It's impossible. You don't have the time. You don't have the money. Just focus on getting by." And for years, she listened. She baked for friends, baked for family, but never dared to take it further. She was waiting for the perfect time, the perfect financial security, the perfect alignment of circumstances. But that day never came. One night, after putting her kids to sleep, she looked at herself in the mirror and realized, if she kept waiting, she'd wait her whole life away. Her dream would die with her, and her kids would never see what's possible when you chase your calling. So she made a decision. Not because she had everything figured out. Not because she had all the money. Not because someone gave her permission. She decided because she was done waiting. She started small, selling cupcakes from her kitchen, delivering them on weekends, building slowly. People laughed. People doubted. But she kept going. Today, that woman owns one of the most popular bakeries in her city. Her business provides for her kids, her employees, and her community. And do you know what she says every time people ask how she did it? She says, "I stopped waiting for permission." Now I want you to see yourself in that story. You might not be dreaming of a bakery. Maybe it's a business. Maybe it's a degree. Maybe it's getting fit. Maybe it's breaking free from a toxic relationship. Maybe it's becoming the first in your family to build real wealth. But whatever it is, the pattern is the same. You keep waiting for someone to say, "Now's the time." You keep waiting for someone to approve. You keep waiting for certainty. And because of that, you're paralyzed. Let me tell you something powerful. Uncertainty is part of the deal. Nobody ever feels 100% ready when they start. Nobody has the whole path laid out before they take the first step. That's why most people never begin. They're too obsessed with knowing the end before they take the beginning. But winners? They step out in faith. They move with courage, even when the outcome is blurry. They decide that progress beats perfection every single time. Look back at history. The Wright brothers didn't ask permission to build the first airplane. They didn't wait for a committee to vote yes. They chased the dream, and people laughed at them. Until one day, the world stopped laughing. J.K. Rowling? She was a broke, struggling single mother when she wrote Harry Potter. 12 publishers rejected her. 12. But she didn't ask permission to keep going. She didn't let their no become her truth. She gave herself permission to try again. And today, her books have sold over 500 million copies. Thomas Edison? He failed thousands of times before creating the light bulb. Thousands. Do you think someone was standing over his shoulder saying, "It's okay, Thomas, keep going, I approve"? No. He gave himself permission to fail forward. And that's the key. You must give yourself permission to fail. Because failure isn't the opposite of success. Failure is the price of success. Failure is the stepping stone. But if you're waiting for someone else to tell you it's okay to fall, you'll never even try. So ask yourself, how many dreams have I abandoned because I was waiting for someone else's approval? How many opportunities did I watch pass by because I was scared someone might disapprove? How many times did I sit in silence while the life I wanted walked away? And then ask yourself the real question. What would happen if I just took it? What would happen if I stopped overthinking, stopped waiting, stopped doubting, and simply took what's mine? I want you to picture it right now. Picture the life you've been dreaming of, the business you want to run, the book you want to publish, the body you want to build, the freedom you want to feel. Picture it vividly. Now, imagine one thing. You already have it. It's already yours. Now tell me, what's stopping you from reaching out and grabbing it? The truth? Nothing but you. Because life doesn't hand over rewards to the hesitant. Life responds to boldness. Life bends to action. There's a saying, fortune favors the brave. And it's true. Every great achievement you've ever admired came from someone who stopped waiting and started taking. So, let me ask you this. What are you waiting for? Approval from parents who don't understand your dream? Friends who are too scared to chase their own goals? A boss who would rather keep you in your place than see you shine? Society that constantly tells you to be realistic? Stop. Stop giving people the power to write your story. Stop handing over the pen. Stop waiting for permission slips that will never come. Because here's the truth. When you decide to win, when you decide to take what's yours, nobody can stop you. They can doubt you, mock you, resist you, but they can't stop you. And the moment you stop asking and start taking, that's the moment your life begins to change. Let's be brutally honest for a moment. Most people never reach their full potential. Not because they weren't capable, not because they lacked talent, but because they let fear of rejection and the need for permission choke their dreams to death. And maybe that's where you've been living. Maybe you've been shrinking yourself to fit inside other people's boxes. You know what's worse than failing? Living a life of what if. What if I had started? What if I had believed in myself? What if I had stopped waiting for someone else to approve? Nobody wants to stand at the end of their life, looking back with regret, whispering, I could have been more. Yet that's the fate of millions, good, decent, hardworking people who never realized the only permission they needed was their own. Think about the kid in class who always had the answers, but never raised his hand because he was afraid of being wrong. Think about the woman who dreamed of traveling the world but stayed in the same small town because everyone said it was too risky. Think about the man who wanted to start a company but kept clocking in at a job he hated, waiting for someone to tell him it was okay to leap. Do you see the pattern? Fear disguised as waiting, doubt disguised as responsibility, caution disguised as wisdom, and all of it rooted in this toxic idea that we need permission to live boldly. But winners, true winners, break that cycle. Let me share another story. A young athlete, small in size, constantly overlooked. Coaches didn't believe in him. Scouts ignored him. Friends told him, be realistic. You'll never make it big. But every morning, while the world slept, he was out on the field, training. Not because someone told him to. Not because someone gave him permission. Because he gave himself permission to be great. That athlete, his name was Michael Jordan. Cut from his high school basketball team, told he wasn't good enough. Imagine if he believed them. Imagine if he waited for someone to give him permission. The world would never have seen one of the greatest athletes of all time. And that's the lesson. Your approval must come from within. If you wait for others to believe in you, you'll be waiting forever. You see, people are scared of dreamers. They're scared of those who chase something bigger because it forces them to look at their own smallness. When you move boldly, it shines a light on the excuses they've been hiding behind. That's why they tell you to be realistic. That's why they laugh. That's why they doubt. But their fear has nothing to do with your destiny. Let me put it like this. If you want to build a skyscraper, you don't ask the opinions of people who've only built shacks. You don't let their small vision dictate your grand design. And yet, that's what so many people do. They let small minds talk them out of big dreams. But not you. Not anymore. I want you to think about your dream like a locked treasure chest. Inside it is everything you've ever wanted. Freedom, fulfillment, impact, legacy. But here's the twist. The key isn't out there somewhere. The key isn't in your boss's approval, your family's support, or society's validation. The key has been in your pocket the whole time. You're standing at the door, holding the key, but you keep waiting for someone else to unlock it. Why? It's your treasure. It's your dream. It's your life. Nobody else is going to live it for you. Nobody else is going to do the work, fight the battles, carry the scars, or reap the rewards. That's all you. So why wait? Why keep asking for a permission slip from people who aren't even living their own dreams? Let me tell you something raw. People will project their own limitations onto you. They'll hand you their fears disguised as advice. They'll say, don't do that, it's too risky. Stay safe. Play small. But you have to ask yourself, are they living the life you want? Do they have the results you desire? If not, why are you listening? There's a quote I love: don't take criticism from people you wouldn't take advice from. If you wouldn't switch lives with them, why let their opinion shape yours? So here's the challenge. Stop giving your power away. Stop waiting for applause before you move. Stop waiting for someone to pat you on the back before you run. The applause will come later, after you've done the work, after you've proven yourself, after you've taken what's yours. But right now, it's time to move without it. Do you know the most powerful phrase you can ever say to yourself? I give myself permission. Say it right now. I give myself permission to dream. I give myself permission to try. I give myself permission to fail. I give myself permission to rise. I give myself permission to win. Because that's the turning point. Once you give yourself permission, nobody can take it away. And yes, it will be hard. You will stumble. You will hear no. You will face rejection. But remember this: rejection doesn't mean failure. Rejection means redirection. Every no you hear just puts you one step closer to the yes that matters. So stop asking, what if I fail? And start asking, what if I succeed? Because here's the truth: your dream isn't impossible. It's waiting for you to stop waiting. And the moment you stop needing permission, that's the moment the world opens up to you. By now, you're starting to feel it, that shift inside, that spark that whispers, maybe I really can do this. Maybe I don't have to wait anymore. But let me warn you, the moment you decide to stop waiting for permission, the world will test you. The test won't come in the form of open doors and smooth roads. They'll come as resistance, as obstacles, as voices screaming, go back to where you were. Stay comfortable. Don't try. Because the moment you choose growth, comfort dies. The moment you choose courage, fear wakes up. The moment you choose to win, everything around you will try to drag you back to where you were. This is the part most people can't handle. They start strong, fired up, ready to move, but the first storm that comes, they run back to safety. That's why most people never taste victory. Because victory doesn't live in the land of comfort. Victory lives in the land of struggle, sacrifice, and perseverance. Think about a seed. For it to become a tree, it has to break. It has to push through the dirt. It has to reach for the sun, even when it's buried in darkness. If it waits for perfect conditions, it never grows. But when it decides, I will rise no matter what, that's when life bursts forth. You're the same. You can't wait for perfect conditions. You can't wait for everything to line up. You have to rise in the dirt. You have to grow in the darkness. You have to decide to fight through resistance until you reach the light. And resistance will come. People will question you. Some will laugh. Some will gossip. Some will walk away. And you'll be tempted to doubt yourself, to crawl back into the box you broke out of. But listen carefully, don't shrink. Don't retreat. Don't hand your dream back to the world just because the world wasn't ready for it. Because here's the truth. The world is never ready for greatness at first. Every world changer was doubted, mocked, resisted. They said the Wright brothers were fools. They said Edison was wasting his life. They said Oprah didn't have the face for TV. They said Walt Disney lacked imagination. They said Muhammad Ali was too loud, too brash. But history doesn't remember the doubters. History remembers the ones who kept going. So when you feel that resistance, don't see it as a sign to stop. See it as proof you're on the right path. Resistance is the tax you pay for greatness. Here's another story. A young man from Brooklyn, raised in poverty. His teachers told him he wasn't smart. His environment told him he'd never escape. But he had a dream, to inspire the world with his words. People laughed. They said, nobody's going to listen to you. Stay in your place. But he didn't ask for permission. He wrote. He spoke. He hustled. And today, that young man is Les Brown, one of the greatest motivational speakers of all time. His voice has touched millions. His story has changed lives. What if he had listened? What if he had waited for permission? The world would have missed his gift. And that's the point. You playing small doesn't just rob you. It robs the world. Because your dream isn't just about you. It's about the lives you'll touch, the people you'll inspire, the legacy you'll leave. So every time you're tempted to quit, remember, somebody out there needs you to win. Somebody out there needs your example. Somebody out there is waiting for proof that they can do it too. Think about your children, your family, your community. Think about the person watching you silently, praying for someone to show them it's possible. You may not even know their name, but they're watching. And when you rise, they rise too. That's why you can't wait for permission. That's why you can't quit when it gets hard. Because this isn't just about you. It's bigger. And I know, the path is lonely. When you start moving differently, some people won't understand. They'll say you've changed. And they're right. You have. Because you're no longer living trapped. You're no longer asking. You're no longer waiting. Let them talk. Let them doubt. Let them walk away. Because when you win, the right people will show up. The people who believe in growth. The people who support your vision. The people who don't just tolerate your fire, they fan the flames. But first, you have to prove to yourself that you don't need permission. You have to wake up each morning and say, "This is my time. This is my life. This is my dream. And I will not be denied." Because nobody's going to knock on your door and hand you success. Nobody's going to wake you up and say, "Congratulations, your dreams are ready now." You have to decide. You have to take it. You have to fight for it every single day. And yes, it will take longer than you thought. It will be harder than you imagined. But it will also be worth more than you ever dreamed. So stop waiting. Stop asking. Stop doubting. And step into the fire. Step into the fight. Step into your destiny. Because greatness doesn't come to those who wait for permission. Greatness comes to those who take what's theirs.